Hello students, welcome to my virtual class. Today I am going to discuss with you a very important topic in English grammar, that is transformation of sentences. This topic is important for both the students who are going to appear in Madhyamik examination and also for HS examinees. As you all know that transformation of sentences covers a vast area, I have classified the whole topic into several parts. Today, I am going to deal with one or two sections, and in my next classes, I will do the remaining part. So let's share my screen so that it can work as the teaching learning material. Now look at my screen. First of all, here are some examples for you so that you can have a clear idea of what the transformation of sentences really is. Look at the first sentence. Everybody loves his parents. This sentence has been turned into an interrogative one, that is, who doesn't love his parents? Then the next one, I wish that it would happen before. This is also an assertive or declarative sentence. It has been turned into exclamatory one, that is, if it would happen before. Then the third one, the sentence is in affirmative form, that is, everybody admits that he is a great fool. I have turned it into negative one. The answer is nobody denies that he is a great fool. Then the last one on the screen, Arijit Singh is a professional singer. Here look at the word professional. It is in adjective form. I have turned the word into the noun form and rewrite the sentence as Arijit Singh is a singer by profession. Now here are some red mark words. You have to look at these words minutely because these words indicate the change in the sentence. Now go to the next slide. It has been stuck, I think. Yes. Yes. Then the second one. Here are some sentences comprising of superlative, comparative and positive degree of adjective form. The superlative degree, the sentence containing or comprising the superlative degree of adjective is Akbar was one of the greatest kings. Here, one of the greatest. If we change it into comparative form, it will be Akbar was greater than most other kings. And in the positive form, very few kings were as great as Akbar. Now here are some voice changes. If the active voice is one should keep one's promises, the passive of this sentence will be promises should be kept. And the last one, the last example is in the simple sentence, that is, seeing the snake, the girl cried out. And if we turn it into a complex one, it will be when the girl saw the snake, she cried out. Now here are some 7 examples I think for you, and there are different variety of examples of transformation of sentences. So what we have seen here in these 7 sentences that the meaning of each pair of sentences is the same, but the transformation lies in its structure. So we can easily say that transformation of sentences is to change the form of any sentence into another form without altering its meaning. This is the very important point, without changing its meaning. Some of us have the idea that transformation means the total transformation. No, this is only a structural transformation of the sentence, not in the meaning of the sentence. We have to keep this point very firm in our mind. Now there are various ways of transformation of sentences. What are they? They are interchange of kinds of sentences, interchange of affirmative and negative sentences, change of parts of speech, change of degrees of comparison, change of voices, change of mode of narration, and the last but not the least, conversion of simple to complex and vice versa, means just the opposite. So these are the areas in which we can transform any sentence into another form. I have already cited some of the examples from different areas. Now we go into detailed discussion. Now the first one, interchange of interrogative and assertive sentences. As you all know that there are 5 kinds of sentences in English grammar. They are assertive or declarative sentences, which we generally call statement, then interrogative sentences, then imperative sentences, then optative sentences, and last but not the least, exclamatory sentences. Now the interchange may take place among all the kinds of sentences, but what we generally get in our question paper is the interchange of interrogative and assertive sentences, or the vice versa, and the interchange of assertive and exclamatory sentences, or the vice versa. Now let's come to the first one, interchange of interrogative and assertive sentences. Now we generally know that questions may be asked not only to get information, but to suggest the answer that the speaker desires to have. It means that the answer of the question sometimes lies in the question itself. This is a very vital point in the interchange of interrogative and assertive sentences, or the other way around. We always have to keep it in mind that affirmative questions suggest negative answers, while negative questions suggest affirmative answers. This is the most vital point in this section of the transformation of sentences. If the question is in affirmative or positive form, then the assertive or declarative statement will be in negative form. Or the other way around, if the question is in negative form, then the answer or the assertive sentence will be in positive or affirmative form. Here are some examples for you. Look at these examples very carefully. I know you have gone through all these sections again and again, time and again. You have practiced test papers, question banks, or the exercise books again and again. But you have to remember one thing, that in grammar, theory has no place. Practice is the foremost thing in scoring good marks in grammar. However hard you have studied all these things, however detailed you have gone through all these things, you have to practice it again and again. You don't have to be complacent about your practice, about your preparation, because whenever you do any English grammar, you practice any topic in English grammar, you have to think that you are doing it for the first time, so that you will learn better and better. The more practice you have, the more options of scoring marks you will get. Now look at the first sentence, interrogative one. Will he ever forget that experience? This sentence is an interrogative sentence. And look at the marked word ever, because this very word ever suggests that the sentence is in affirmative form. You have to change it into an assertive one. That means what I have uh, showed you in the previous slide, that an affirmative question always suggests negative answers. So the negative form of the word ever will be used in the assertive sentence, that is never. So the answer will be, he will never forget that experience. Now, as I said earlier, that questions are asked not only to get answers, but to suggest what the speaker or the narrator desires to have. Now, all these are like the rhetoric questions. Now, what are the rhetoric questions? we generally come across rhetoric questions in poems. Now, what is the speciality of these rhetoric questions? Or rather, I should say, what is the difference between rhetoric question and a normal question? The speciality or the main characteristic of the rhetoric question is the answer of the question lies in the question itself. If you minutely examine the question, you can find the answer in it. Here also, will he ever forget that experience? If you ask this question again and again in your mind, you will get the answer that he will never forget that experience. This is the main factor in the interchange of these sentences. Now the next one, who doesn't love his motherland? Now this question starts with the WH word who. Now you know that who, this very WH word who suggests a person. That means the answer of who will be everybody or everyone, or nobody or no one. Now, where do we use everybody or where do we use nobody or no one? If the answer is in affirmative sentence, then we can use everybody. And if the answer is in negative sense, then we can use nobody or no one. Now look at the two examples side by side, the second one and the third one. Who doesn't love his motherland? This question is in negative form and the question starts with a WH word who. Now I have to, or we have to, rather I should say, we have to answer this question or turn this question into assertive one. Doesn't love. Look at these marked words. Doesn't love. It means that this interrogative sentence is in negative form. So we have to transform it into assertive one and it will be in affirmative form. That is, doesn't love will be turned into loves. And who, this very word who suggests here everybody because it is in affirmative form. Everybody loves his motherland. Now look at the third example. Here also we can see that the question starts with the WH word who and the question is in affirmative form. Who can bear an unprovoked insult? So it suggests that the answer or the assertive sentence will be in negative form. That means here we have to use no one or nobody in place of who. Because my answer will be in negative form. No one can bear an unprovoked insult. So you have to be careful here where to use everybody or everyone and where to use no one or nobody. It is very simple. If you practice hard, you can do it very easily. Now another question, how can man remain immortal? Man, how, this very word how, it suggests the manner, the manner of any activities. How can man remain immortal? Ask this question again and again. How can man remain immortal? The question lies in the question itself. The answer, rather we should say, the answer lies in the question itself. Man cannot remain immortal. Then the next one, if you prick us, do we not bleed? Then the answer will be very simple. It will be in affirmative form. If you prick us, we shall bleed. Then the next one, why do you waste time like this? Why do you waste? Why? It actually suggests the reason behind the statement. Why do you waste time like this? আমি যদি বাংলায় প্রশ্ন করি তাহলে এটা কি হবে? কেন তুমি এভাবে সময় অপচয় করছো? তার মানে কি? We shouldn't waste time like this. And then the last one, it is very simple. Do we live to earn money only? No, we do not live to earn money only. So these are few examples, very few examples before you, so that you can know how to change any assertive sentence into interrogative one, or in this slide you can see the assertive sentences into interrogative ones. There interrogative ones into assertive sentences, here assertive sentences into interrogative one. This book is good for reading. Here the very word is, it will be in negative form in the interrogative sentence. Isn't this book good for reading? Then another one, coal cannot change its color. Interrogative sentence will be, can coal change its color? Then the third one, nothing exceeds like success. Then the interrogative sentence of the assertive one will be, does anything exceed like success? And likewise, the fourth one, we cannot please everybody. It will be, can we please everybody? So all these are the interchange of interrogative sentences into assertive ones, or the vice versa, the other way around. Now look at another topic, that is interchange of exclamatory and assertive sentences. You have done it again and again in the narration change. Narration change of exclamatory sentences. We know that any exclamatory sentence can be formed in two ways. Either by using interjection, that is the word which expresses different mode, that is alas, bravo, wow, oh, etc. Or by using WH word, that is what, how, etc. Now in changing exclamatory to assertive sentences, exclamatory words like what, how, if, etc. are changed to adjectives suitable to the sense of the sentence. Look at these three words, the sense of the sentences. You have to catch the mode of the sentence, whether the exclamatory sentence is in happy mode, or it is in sad mode, or it expresses any wonder or something like that. If you catch the mode of the sentence, the sense of the sentence, then you can easily replace this exclamatory word into suitable adjectives. We will see this in various examples in my next slide. Now, the word very should be placed before an adjective and great before a noun. It is also another important point. If we turn any exclamatory sentence into assertive ones, first of all, we have to omit these exclamatory words. Either it will be interjections or it will be WH word. And in place of those words, we have to use different adjectives as per the sense or mode of the sentences. And after that, we have to use very if there is an adjective, or great if there is a noun. The verbs like exclaim in wonder, wish, desire, rejoice, etc. are used in the assertive sentences to convey the meaning of the exclamation. As I said earlier, that in interchanging the exclamatory sentence into assertive ones or the vice versa, we have to catch the meaning or sense of the sentence. It is very much important, because exclamatory sentences generally expresses the mode of the speaker, okay, rather than the literary meaning of the sentence. It expresses the mode of the speaker. So whenever we turn any exclamatory sentence into assertive one, we have to keep that mode intact in the assertive sentences too. Otherwise, it will not be a perfect interchange. So these verbs like exclaim in wonder, wish, desire, rejoice, or any other suitable verb you may use, but you have to keep it in mind that you have to convey the meaning of the exclamation. The reverse process should be adopted in changing assertive to exclamatory sentences. You all know that. Now let's look at some examples so that you can find it very comfortable or easy. Now look at this first sentence. It is in exclamatory sentence. It is a exclamatory sentence. Oh, what a fall was there, my countrymen. This is a quotation from Shakespeare. Oh, what a fall was there, my countrymen. Oh, what a fall. These very words suggest any terrible or dismaying things. So you have to use an adjective in place of this word what to convey this sense. Now look at the changed ones. That was a terrible fall, my countrymen. So I have used the word terrible here in place of what? Because what a fall indicates that terrible thing happened to the countrymen. Now the second one. how beautifully the moon shines. Here, how, this very word how indicates the beautiful thing, the beauty of the moon. So here I have to keep this sense intact in my assertive sentence. The moon shines very beautifully. Now the third one. Oh, what a fool I am. What a fool I am. Here, the very word what doesn't suggest a terrible thing. Here, the word suggests that I am a great fool. The extent of foolishness in me, it suggests, the very word suggests, this very word what suggests the extent of foolishness in me. What a fool means I am a great fool. So look at the first sentence and the third sentence. What a fool or what a fool. Here in the first sentence, in place of what, I have used the adjective terrible. Now in the second sentence, in the third sentence, in place of the word what, I have used the adjective great. Because the two sentences express two different mode. That's why I have to keep the sense of the sentence intact in my assertive ones, and for this reason only I have used two different adjectives into different places as per the sense of the sentence. Now the last one in this on the screen. Oh, that I were young again. It is the wish improbable. It is the improbability. I were young again. Here, as the very exclamatory sense or exclamatory expression oh suggest my wish. So here I used these words, I wish that I were young again. Now the next one, this is the assertive sentence. You will get assertive sentence, you have to change it into exclamatory one. Now look at these sentences. We rejoice that we have won the match. Rejoice. I have to use any exclamatory word in place of we rejoice. So we rejoice. Whenever we express our rejoice, we use this interjection hooray, hooray or bravo. We have won the match. You may use the word bravo. There is no problem. Then the next one. It is a great pity that our leader is no more. Great pity. I have marked these words. Great pity. It is the sense of the exclamation. A great pity means it is the sadness. Alas. It is the interjection which expresses the sadness behind the sentence. Alas, our leader is no more. Then third one, I wish that it would happen before. Here the word I wish. So it is also the improbable action. If it would happen before. So if in the exclamatory sentence there is a word quote unquote if, you may or should use the words I wish in the assertive ones, or the opposite things or the reversed process, that if you get the word I wish in the assertive sentence, you can use the word quote unquote if in the exclamatory sentences. Now the last one, it is a very nasty fall. If we suggest any terrible thing, any bad thing, we generally use the WH word what to make the sense of the sentence. What a nasty fall it is. So all these are the examples of the interchange between interrogative to assertive or vice versa, and between exclamatory to assertive or vice versa. As I have said in earlier that we have limited time, so I have discussed just the two sections in my class today. I will do the remaining part, that is the other 6 or 7 classifications of the transformation of sentences in my remaining classes on the other days. I hope you have comprehended all these basic rules behind the interchange of sentences. I will give you examples, or I will rather give you homework on this topic very shortly. You will do it on your own at home and send it to me to my WhatsApp number, which you will get from the group, and I will check it before I take your class on Friday night. So that's it for today. I hope you have enjoyed my class. See you soon in my next class. Stay well and prepare yourself well enough to score good marks. There is no other option except hard work in scoring marks in English grammar. So keep practicing and meet you soon in my next class. Thank you all.